So, ladies and gentlemen, over the next number of weeks, up until its big release, we're going to be doing a series of podcasts on the new Baz Luhrmman Elvis movie, because I think it could be Elvis's year this year for fans and what I call celebrants of the King. Now, for a lot of people that haven't been paying attention, just recently the big preview trailer of Elvis came out, and just like Baz Luhrmann's previous creations like Romeo and Juliet and Moulin Rouge, it seems to be very high intensity cinematography, music, and I think it's going to be a big hit. Now, the idea about Elvis has been in the planning stages for a number of years. Now, the current version of Elvis, called Elvis, I don't know how the Kurt Russell interpretation and the Michael St. Gerard interpretation will be taken in this movie, because again, Kurt Russell and Michael St. Gerard and Val Kilmer as well did a great job, even though a short role of Elvis through the years. I think this movie is going to be a quick hit, because the guy involved, Austin Butler, came through the Disney teen stage and seems to be on the bridge of superstardom. Now, I've covered Austin over the years for different shows, and I most well known again as a longtime paramour of the beautiful Vanessa Hudgens. And if you are determined by the people you hang out with, I think this guy is again on the bridge of stardom. Now, Elvis, according to published reports, is an upcoming epic musical drama directed by Baz, from the screenplay written by Luhrmman, Sam Bromwell, Craig Pearce, and Jeremy Donner, with a story by Luhrmman and Donner. The film tells the tale of life and career of rock and movie star Elvis Presley, as well as his relationship with his manager, Colonel Tom Parker, again played by Tom Hanks. The film stars Butler, Hanks, Helen Thompson, Richard Roxburgh, Olivia DeJonge, Luke Bracey, Natasha Bassett, David Wenham, Kelvin Harrison Jr., Xavier Samuel, and Cody Smith McPhee. The film, again, will be dedicated in memory of the Ladd Company's founder, Alan Ladd Jr., who died on March 2nd, 2002. The genius, of course. And I'm sorry I never did a podcast on Alan Ladd Jr. The man was I was a big follower of his creation through the years, and so dedicated to movies. Now, Elvis will have its world premiere at the 2002 Cannes Film Festival, and is scheduled for a theatrical release in Australia on June 22nd, and in the States on June 24th, 2002 by Warner Brothers Pictures. Now, again, is produced by Baz, Gail Berman, Catherine Martin, Patrick McCormick, and Skylar Weiss. Again, cinematography by the great Mandy Walker. Edited by Matt Avila and Jonathan Redman. Music by Elliot Wheeler. Production companies include Basmark Films and the Jackal Group, with distribution by Warner Brothers and the Great Roadshow in Australia. Again, release dates have already been set, and a co-production between Australia and the States. Now, again, Helen Thompson will be taking on the key role of playing Gladys Presley, Elvis's mother, with Richard Roxburgh as Vernon, his father, Olivia DeJonge as Priscilla, Luke Bracey as Jerry Schilling, Natasha Bassett as Dixie Locke, Patrick Shear as Dewey Phillips. And again, this interesting for me as a Canadian, David Wenham has taken on the role of the great Canadian country star Hank Snow, who was Elvis got his big start on his productions back in the day. Cody Smith McPhee will play Jimmy Rogers Snow, Josh McConnell as Sam Phillips, Kate Mulvaney as Marion Keisker, Kelvin Harrison as B.B. King. Should be quite interesting there. Xavier Samuel as Scotty Moore, Adam Dunn as Bill Black, as part of his great threesome, Leon Ford as Tom Dixon, a spokesman for Colonel Tom Parker, Charles Grounds as Billy Smith, Elvis's cousin, Yola Quartley as the great sister Rosetta Tharpe, Alton Mason as Little Richard, Gary Clark Jr. as Arthur Crudup, Shanka Dukora as Willie Mae Big Mama Thornton, Christopher Summers as Horace Logan, Nicholas Bell as Senator Jim Eastland, Asabi Goodman as Graceland maid Alberta Holman, Alex Rideau as George Klein, Christian McCarthy as Red West,
Mike Bingaman as Sonny West, David Gannon as Charlie Hodge, Lamar Brown as Carol Carter, Elvis's driver, who could tell probably that could be moving itself, Tony Nixon as Dr. George C. Nicopopolis, Garrett Davis as Bowens Howe, Dacre Montgomery as Steve Bender. Again, the sweet inspirations will be portrayed by Sharon Brooks, Cynthia Mabrata, Aristine Kisanda, and Mariama Andrews. Carol Ireland as Kathy Westmoreland, and of course Mark Leonard Winter as Tom Hewlett of Concerts West. Now, I don't know the official script or plot or the length of the movie. You can take all kind of facets of Elvis's career from start to finish. The Elvis Michael St. Gerard series talked about his early years, from high school to driving truck to his low road to stardom. The Kurt Russell performance covered a lot of bases. So right now it's an open-ended what's going to be taken care of, because how much will be kind of Truman Capote style fiction and non-fiction, or how much will be as accurate as possible. There's literally tens of thousands of books have been written about Elvis, so I really don't know what's going to go. But I mean, I like to see Baz's interpretation as what I've called not so the Elvis legend, but the Elvis impact. Now, the project was first announced in April 2014 when Baz entered negotiations to direct the film, with Kelly Marcel writing the script. No further development of the film was announced until March 2019, when Tom Hanks, in a major release, was cast in the role of Colonel Tom Parker, who was the unofficial guide that led Elvis to his passing, because Tom didn't want him to tour because the machinations of his residency in the States and all that. We'll get in that later podcast. Now, Luhrmman was set as director and also replaced Marcel as screenwriter with Sam Bromwell and Craig Pierce. In July, the frontrunners for the role of Elvis Presley were Ansel Elgort, Miles Teller, Austin Butler, Aaron Tyler Johnson, and get this, Harry Styles, with Butler winning the role later that month. In October, Olivia de Jong was cast as Priscilla, Maggie Gyllenhaal and Russell Sewell were cast as Gladys and Vernon Presley. In February 2020, with Yola cast as Sister Rosetta Tharpe. Now, principal photography began on January 28, 2020 in Australia. On March 12, 2020, production was halted when Hanks and his wife Rita Wilson tested positive for COVID. Now, filming resumed on September 23rd. In September 2020, Luke Bracey, Richard Roxburgh, Helen Thompson, Dacre Montgomery, Natasha Bassett, Leon Ford, Kate Mulvaney, Garrett Davis, Charles Grounds, Josh McConville, and Adam Dunn joined the cast of the film. Roxburgh and Thompson replaced Sewell and Gyllenhaal respectively, who had to drop out due to scheduling conflicts caused by the shooting delay. Now, Kelvin Harrison was announced to be portraying B.B. King in December, and in January 2021, it was reported that Alton Mason would be portraying Little Richard in the film. Now, in April of 2022, it was announced that Doja Cat would contribute in the original song for the film called Vegas. The song will incorporate elements from Presley's own songs, such as a cover of Big Mama Thornton's Hound Dog. This production was released officially as a single on May 6, 2022, ahead of the film's companion soundtrack album, scheduled for release in the summer by RCA, which is Elvis's former label. The album will also feature variations on Presley material by big-name artists in a variety of genres and styles. The final lineup hasn't been announced yet. Now, again, it was scheduled to be released on October 1st, 2021, before being delayed to November 5th due to COVID. Now, it was also pushed back to June 3rd, 2022. Big summer release, and I think is a good idea. The film was not listed as part of the December 2020 announcement by Warner Brothers Pictures to debut its entire 2021 slate concurrently in movie theaters and on HBO Max before the film was officially pushed to 2022. It will be streamed on HBO Max 45 days after its theatrical release, which is very close to the anniversary of Elvis passing in 1977. Now, ironically, this movie led by Austin Butler. Austin has been featured more as a blonde in these performances. Now, when I say he came up in the Disney system, he's quite well known for numerous Disney projects, but lately he's getting a lot of publicity because he appeared as the infamous killer Tex Watson in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in 2019, directed by Quarantino, himself an Elvis Presley impersonator, and he will be on the sequel to Dune in 2023. So again, on a big list, as we say. Now on the Disney list, he's played on Drake and Josh, Hannah Montana, Zoe 101, iCarly, Ruby and the Rockets, Wizards of Waverly Place, the Jonah series, CSI twice, and he was in the Bling Ring playing Zach Harvey. Saw him perform there 11 years ago. Switched at Birth. He was also in the Carrie Diaries. Played on Arrow as a character Chase for 3 episodes. Now he's been recognized quite early in his career for Young Artist Awards for work in Aliens in the Attic, very underrated movie, show, Ruby and the Rockets and the Defenders. Now, Harry Styles and Elvis, I think, would have been stunt casting, but I think Butler, being the Disney, what he called stable, he should be able to present Elvis in a respectful way. Now, I've seen the preview, and let me tell you something. I see a lot of Ricky Nelson in his style. So how he will portray Elvis? Does he have the heft of a Kurt Russell or a Michael St. Gerard? For me, the best Elvis was Michael St. Gerard. Check out another podcast I did on Michael's career as Elvis, because he played Elvis in numerous production through the years, including the series. He played in Great Balls of Fire with Quaid. So stay tuned for other podcasts than this when more information becomes available, extra trailers. But it looks to me it's going to be very, very visually fabulous. Baz's movies are always like that. And will it lead to a nomination for Tom Hanks? Yes. Will it lead to a nomination for Austin, depending on how the Golden Globes goes? But like I said, not every Oscar bait movie involving a former big artist leads to nominations. But in 2022, it's been 45 years since Elvis's passing. Will the Memphis, would not say mafia, that would be a cliche, but would the fans of the boys from Memphis would go to see this movie? I would suspect if Priscilla Presley is involved in any way supporting the film, it's going to be a great, a great support. I really miss Elvis, and I tell you why. I only got Elvis for a few years, from 65 to 77, but his impact on all media was very important. I hope it shows respect to Elvis for choosing Colonel Tom Parker in the way he did. And ladies and gentlemen, if he was still alive in 2022, I think the world would be a lot better place. I think the world would be a more peaceful place, just like if John Lennon lived. Can you imagine? I think John Lennon and the Beatles would work with Elvis later on. Elvis would have worked with different country stars and stuff. Elvis would be the elder statesman of rock and roll, just like Little Richard did for a number of years, and B.B. King and Chuck Berry. You know, a day goes by without Elvis. Not in this world is a sad day. So I hope it brings back a lot of memories. I know Baz will give as much positive effort towards it. Will it be the movie of 2022? Well, we will have to see. But Austin Butler, I've seen him in his Disney work. He's a capable actor. But Harry Styles, no, a little bit too, a little bit too boy band. By the way, Elvis was a boy band before there was boy bands. He was his own boy band. He was a one-man boy band. Think about that for a second. That's our line of the day. Elvis, the original one-man boy band. Boys, not a dry seat in the house, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I can say. Thanks for listening. Bye.